Welcome to Chaos Divided, your weekly dose of wholesome hammer, where we explore the hobby, the game, and the lore of Warhammer 40K. We're your hosts, Nurgle Snurgle and Blushing Noise Marine. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to give us a follow. And we've also launched a Patreon, so if you're a fan of what we do and you want to support us, you can find the link in the episode description. This week, we're talking about how big and broad the Warhammer community is.
Do we even know, though? Do we even know?
I think we have an inkling. You know what? I know better now than I used to, so...
How many wargamers and hobbyists do you think are in the community? Like we're counting gumballs. Like, how many gumballs do you think are in the jar?
Oh, probably at least... Like, Warhammer fans?
Mm-hmm.
At least a couple million. A few million.
At least two, you and I.
Well, it's definitely at least two. And we have an extra special quote. I wonder if he's going to chirp it and for his little for his moment.
Oh, he's passed out, so no.
No. But it's, my name is Nathaniel Garrow, and I am a Legion of One.
Oh, Garrow, that's so deep. So dark.
That's by Captain Nathaniel Garrow of the Death Guard.
Dun, dun, dun. But he's not a Legion of One.
I mean, we don't know where he is anymore, so.
No. We actually
He's
did
off.
our research right before this podcast on him, too.
We did our research. You mean you looked up the Lexicon article on Nathaniel
did you
Garrow
know?
while I was writing everything out.
How'd you know that was the website I was looking at?
That's You're predictable, Kaylee.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah, apparently he might still be alive.
I want to see Saul Tarvitz come back. That'll be more exciting.
I will celebrate
at
if
least.
Garrow comes back.
There you go. You'll be happy.
Me and Garrow are going to celebrate his return.
You want a loyalist Death Guard? Then you'd have Space Marines.
Imagine the drama in that.
Oh, actually, you know what? I would be totally cool if there was like loyalist versions of... Yeah, like if there was like a... scattered chapters of like heretic legion. Like if there was like loyalist Emperor's Children left, that might actually persuade me to maybe have some Space Marines. I said I'd like me some White Scars, but I'd like some loyalist Emperor's Children much more.
And then imagine if some loyalist legions had some heretics that came out.
Yeah, but see, there is that.
Yeah.
Like there are
like Ultramarines?
Yeah, like I don't know. I think there's war bands that are attached to loyalist. Like there is loyalist Gene Seed that is currently Traitor, that just is like out in the galaxy doing stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of there's one that's a remnant of a Salamanders chapter that went Chaos. I think there is an Ultramarines like Chaos Warband.
Where are
They're
they?
like a successor chapter that they rebelled, and I don't know, they're just like roving around stealing stuff and burning down places.
Are they blue?
No, they usually change their colors, but they are like originally Ultramarines or whatever.
So they're originally Gilliman's sons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are heretic versions of loyalists, but there aren't loyalist versions of heretics that we know of.
Yet.
The Grey Knights are definitely full of heretics.
Yeah, they are the heretics.
The Grey Knights are, well, no, they're the least heretic ones, but
no. If you purge a planet that just because they know what chaos is, that's pretty wrong for me.
The Imperium is the evil one, Kaylee.
I know. Can't tell me anything else.
It's the Imperium is the bad guys. Anyways.
So they're the good guys of the bad guys.
There are no good guys in 40K. Actually, you know what? Shout out Arbiter Ian, who does YouTube lore videos. Did a great video recently explaining why absolutely everyone is a bad guy.
Oh.
So it's a good watch. People, I think, as Warhammer's gotten more popular, people have forgotten that it's like it is satire. Everyone is evil, and it's intentional. Everyone's a bad guy. There are no good guys.
Do you think Games Workshop forgot that it's satire?
No, because Actually, there's a really cool statement they put out a couple of years ago, talking about how there's no room for hate in Warhammer, and it all
Yes.
centers around how, like, the setting is full of hate, but the community has no room for that, and talked about how, like, it talks about how the Imperium is satire and that it is not an ideal, and it is intentionally not an ideal. So no, I would say Games Workshop has not forgotten it. Warhammer's gotten less silly, but I don't think it's become less satirical. But no, you're not supposed to, like, look at the Imperium and be like, I'd want to live there.
But then why do everybody, like, they have their own little heroes? They love
Because people are complicated.
Yeah. I think Nurgle's pretty good.
No, Nurgle's super, like, evil.
Like evil good?
Those words don't usually work together.
Oh.
Nurgle literally wants to, like, rot and decay the universe.
Naturally.
No, his plagues aren't necessarily natural.
I don't understand what you're saying.
That Nurgle isn't a nice guy.
Excuse me? Fulgrim doesn't have nice hair then. Take that.
Fulgrim's a super messed up guy. He's, like, deeply flawed. Part of the reason why I like the Emperor's Children is, like, if you create, like, these, like, super powerful super soldiers that have, like, transcended humanity, the Emperor's Children is what you get. You get, like, deprived, debauched, like, super messed up people. The Emperor's Children is why you don't make superhumans.
Do you find people gravitate to a faction because that's kind of like who they are as a person?
I mean, I literally said, like, no, like, the Emperor's Children does not, like, represent me as a person. So no,
yeah, I don't feel that about Nurgle either. Can you hear my shifting eyes?
I think maybe. I think you have maybe a you have, like, a pre-sentience Nurgle appreciation of, like, Nurgle as life and, like, the cycles of, like, mortality. But, like, in the actual setting of 40K, Nurgle's, like, pretty messed up.
Oh, okay.
Like, Nurgle originally is, like, the god of life. Just like Slaanesh is the god of love. And, like, Khorne is the god of, like, justice and truth. But then, like, those get messed up.
But because of human emotions.
Well, and Eldar emotion and Orc emotion. And
so it's actually not Nurgle's fault.
No, it's not Nurgle's fault. That doesn't make you a nice person if you do bad things accidentally. You're like, oops, I created a plague intentionally that killed trillions. Go put that in the nice guy bucket.
Check.
I'm sorry.
My dreams are crushed. Yes. I will take your apology.
Anyways, this is about the community, and we've gone, like, way into the lore, so this is a good good beginning tangent. But maybe to get us back on track. Don't be like Garrow. Don't be a legion of one.
Be a legion of many.
Yes, be legion. But no, I think we've both seen that Warhammer really brings people together and it builds bridges. You and I wouldn't know each other without Warhammer.
That's so true. And then the listeners wouldn't be listening to us without Warhammer.
Exactly. Well, yes, we wouldn't have a Warhammer podcast without Warhammer.
I think that's super cool.
It is super cool. And it's interesting. We kind of talked about this with Tanya when we had her on. About how, like, people that would never know each other meet each other through Warhammer. And it just kind of, like, doesn't matter. Like, people just, like, the Warhammer just brings everyone together into, like, a big soup of plague in Nurgle's cauldron.
See? Good. And it's absolutely amazing, like, how far people are from each other, and yet they're still connecting. Like, you and I aren't in the same room.
No.
And we do this every week. Thank you to technology.
It's true. And, like, you know, we've met people, we've talked to people, we've had people on the show that, like, never would have known, never would have had the opportunity to chat with, and that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would consider them some of the cooler moments I've experienced, is just, like, chatting with people about this thing that we all love.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things being on Ras Reach, was just every week someone either new or familiar coming on to a battle report and just getting to know them as a person. Yes, we get to talk about Warhammer, but it's also, how do you enjoy Warhammer? Or sometimes it'd be more personal questions, but it's like, that's kind of the human experience, is getting to know one another and realizing we do have our similar likes and our sometimes similar dislikes as well.
I mean, I think we've a lot of us have bonded around being salty about Eldar lately. I think that's a unifying force in the community.
Yeah, it's kind of like warming to the heart. We could all join around the bonfire with our s'mores and our weenies and be like, Eldar.
The s'mores are just made out of salt. They're just salty Eldar tears, because we're just like, no, it's broken.
Although, little tangent I saw today, Chaos Space Marines are dominating the GTs.
You know what? I think, because I've looked at some of those lists, I think CSM, with where Eldar currently are, like, now that Wraith Knights have been, like, kind of cast
demolished,
aside,
yeah.
The big thing right now is, like, Night Spinners and Wraith Guard, which CSM have a lot of tools for what the current Eldar meta is. And I think in a lot of tournaments, Eldar blow everyone else out of the water, and then you just have to survive long enough to just fight Eldar. Like I watched the Auspex Tactics video about the guy that won the London Grand Tournament. His last 3 rounds were against Eldar.
Oh my goodness.
So just like he just brought a list that could just handle Eldar forever.
And that was the one with Celeste, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, the Chosen and Rhinos really negate the Night Spinners. What else is it? The Obliterators and the Forge Fiends are really good at, like, taking out some of the bigger threats. Like the Forge Fiends basically, like, rip apart the Wraithguard units that Eldar players are using. So, like, there's a lot of tools in the CSM toolbox that specifically undermine Eldar. So now that, like, Eldar have been somewhat toned down, I think CSM hard counters Eldar enough that you're seeing kind of that switch. They also like cleaned out the, like, rest of the big threats. Like,
finally,
CSM struggled against Custodes.
It's finally the month of chaos.
It's the month. Well, yeah, I think the next balance sweep is in January. So, but Chaos Knights are also doing quite well, and I think Chaos Demons are holding their own.
Which is yeah, because when I played them at the last GT, there's definitely a play style there, and people are doing really well, especially with, like, Khorne Demons as well. The way that I deployed my army can save you in the first turn, and then you can strike. I think there's a lot of play there.
Well, yeah, a lot of the, like, Tau is now high up there. Votan is doing fairly well now. Those are big shooting armies, and Demons are just like, nah, don't care.
Yeah. I'll see you in turn 2.
Right. Melkor's just, like, pulls out his magazine and is, like, puts his reading glasses on. He's just, like,
crosses his legs.
Like, I'm not here until turn 2. You'll have to excuse me.
And my friends, They're coming with me.
Right. And actually, you know what? Talking about, you were mentioning Wrath Reach earlier. I didn't even told you this yet. I'm going to be back on Wrath Reach on the 19th of November.
Ooh.
Yes.
Do you know who your opponent is?
I do. It is a local Necrons player. You might know him. Okay. Necron Matt.
Oh, nice.
So I think it's
that's gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a good tough match.
On another tangent, I might have ordered a Rampager, and I'm curious to see if it comes in fast enough that I can maybe have it, because that would be a fun little game to play.
You gonna even have it painted?
I think I could get a battle ready pretty fast. Battle ready's only what, three coats of paint? I think, yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yeah. Build in an afternoon, you know.
3 paints. Psst, psst.
Some purple, some pink, bada boom, bada bing. I'm gonna cover it all with one other colors afterwards.
Good for the
Basing
camera.
texture, just like a little sprig of grass.
Little tough.
Done.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But you know what? This is, this whole conversation has been somewhat a tangent, but it's also a good way of talking about like how these different connections can happen. Like, realistically, like, we're talking about like something like Wrath's Reach, which brings different people on. Like, that's a community building exercise right there.
Yeah, that was my key idea on that show. We were told by multiple people, hey, you should have like the core people on here. It's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to like expand this community, connect the community with one another, have people play who they've never met, like we do at GTs, and then just get to know them, and get to know each person. So that was my core idea with Wrath.
Yeah, and I think that's like, it's a cool way, like, we've been on there, you've been on there many times, but like we've gone on there, and it's a very different experience than just like playing a casual game of Warhammer. Like, it really changes the dynamic, and it adds another layer that's cool, and you're connecting with people who also maybe aren't in the local community, who are like in the chat and are like popping in, and I don't know, there's a lot of people being brought together. So that's kind of the big message of today, is Warhammer is big.
Yeah.
It's not Dungeons and Dragons big, but it's big.
It's pretty big.
But I would say Warhammer brings more people together than Dungeons and Dragons does.
Yeah, because Dungeons and Dragons, it's like you have your core 5 and you stick with your core 5.
Yeah.
Whereas GTs, you're playing 5 different people.
Yeah, and you're gonna meet new people, and like you don't choose who you pair with, so.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to experience that difference.
And then I feel like there's a lot more. Well, I guess with D&D, there's like different content creators you can go on their show and be a part of like one shots, which is kind of like what mini wargaming is, and play on tabletop. Because like mini wargaming, when you really think about it, it's just a collaboration with the community constantly. People go in and they play their games, and they may not be content creators themselves, or just fans that want to fly in and show off their armies and play with Steve or Luca or Skari. And that's really cool. Like, you don't have to be this huge face in Warhammer to be a content creator.
That's true. I'm just sorry. I don't want to go into a huge tangent, but as soon as you start talking about mini wargaming, all I could think of was after your trip to the bunker, your like religious exaltation, and I was going to say like you can go to mini wargaming and have like a religious experience playing.
And become a cultist.
So I got lost in my own thought there.
Yeah, Dave is secretly making an army, like a real life army.
A real life of Warhammer nerds.
So yeah, I'm the Nurgle champ. You want to be a Slash champ? You want to be a part of this cult?
I don't know anymore.
We get to go to butterfly conservatories and look at models and chat Warhammer. I think that's up your alley.
Yeah, you know, maybe not the butterflies. I'm kind of mad on butterflies.
What?
I'm sorry.
I'm so offended.
I think you actually are a little bit.
Laura, you don't know. You don't know.
I don't know, they're just like, they're bugs. I don't know.
Oh my god.
They are. That's what they are.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. Because in the beginning of this podcast, you didn't think you had an art style, and now you do. And I'm going to drag your butt to the Butterfly Conservatory, and you will have your religious experience.
Okay.
So you
I'll just
you
go
can
cry and be like, they're so beautiful.
Well, leave that to me. But yes, I will challenge you on that.
All right. I've never been like, oh, butterflies are interesting, I guess.
I don't know if I can continue this conversation because I am just. How could you not like butterflies? They're so
I didn't say
cool.
I disliked them. I just don't.
But like,
care.
how are you not amazed by them? Like they're
pretty bugs. I don't know. Birds are cooler. Like, pretty birds are prettier than butterflies.
They do more stuff, I guess. They can.
Like, have you ever seen like an eagle? That's cool. Owls are
like,
sick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You look at an owl and they're just like staring at you, and they like fly silently, and they're just like
they're
looking into your soul.
Bird. Yeah.
Owls are not a flightless bird, but
no, I don't know why I said that.
You get owls and chickens confused there, like.
No, there's this like meme. What was it? Oh, I can't think about it anymore. But Jared and I did it, and it's like wanting to fight somebody, and you triggered my flight or fight response, and I'm a flightless bird.
Oh my god, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't have
We are at the boonies right now. I don't know if we can get this podcast back on track.
That's fine. Are we ever on track on this podcast?
I feel like every episode gets a little bit less on the rails.
So
I feel like
sorry.
we started pretty on the rails, and then we very quickly got off them.
Yeah. And why it's so like off the rails, I think, this week is because we're in HalCon mode.
I know.
Where we're going to be able to connect with this large community from people from all over.
You're skipping ahead, but it's okay.
Huh?
I had a whole thing about conventions in the plan, but...
I'm foreshadowing.
You're foreshadowing? Okay. It's true that, you know what, I need to do up another presentation, but I got the first one done. It got the Nurgle Circle seal of approval, I think, so we're ready to go. Stamped in slime. It's more about like a...
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
My first convention.
Yeah, you're gonna have a blast.
My first convention as a content creator.
I know. As blushing noise marine.
I know. I have to wear blush so that I'm extra blushy.
What if someone asked for your autograph? Can you sign my model?
I don't know how I'd feel about that. I'm not.
What if they like want you to kiss their model? Like,
have you signed a model? Yeah. Okay. I feel. All right. Let's put this into perspective.
They're not there to see me.
Yes, they are. 100%. No, that's
you.
I highly doubt.
But what if they give it to like their baby? Like, please, just kiss it.
That's just like a COVID thing. Like, that's just gross. Don't throw your baby around to be kissed. That's not sanitary.
Your model, not your baby. Maybe throw your baby around. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna be stomping some butterflies. You keep talking like that.
Oh, okay. I'll behave.
Uh, you know though, yeah, I am excited to like get out and meet some folks, and I hope people you know, come up and say hi, and I'm really excited to see how our panels go.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how many people are going to show up, but I'm hoping they're well attended.
At least you and I.
It'll be at least 2 people in the room.
Yeah.
So it'll be a thing.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. Like, conventions are a great way to also meet new people. And HalCon, I don't think, has a tournament this year. But there's still going to be like a lot of Warhammer related stuff going on amongst other nerd things. And you know what? I don't know many Warhammer fans who aren't at least nerdy about like one other thing. So
And like, lucky with us, we're talking about hobbies as well when it comes to like podcasting and finding your narrative. So you can it doesn't have to be directly Warhammer. You can apply that to any community, and that's the neat thing. Do you think there will ever be a D&D Warhammer crossover?
no, Games Workshop is too like protective of their IP. Like, Magic and D&D are owned by Wizards, so like that was.
But there is a Magic and Warhammer crossover.
Yeah, but Magic is more compartmentalized. Okay, first off, it would be like D&D and Age of Sigmar if they were going to do anything. But even then, they're kind of like competing, like, worlds, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'd be surprised. I don't think Games Workshop needs to. Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, so like they're the ones that are more like a part of a company and don't necessarily have the same degree of control, but like Games Workshop does. And I really can't see them like wanting to.
Or like you said, needing to.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what they would get out of it.
I guess, well, it's just the idea of collaborations. You don't have to think it as...
Games Workshop is, like, horribly uncollaborative.
Yeah. But, I mean, you don't have to look at it as, like, oh, D&D is going to steal clientele. Like, we're all in this fishbowl, and you can expand... Because
yeah, that's not how they like view it. Yeah, if you read any of their like corporate documents, they're pretty like territorial.
Yeah, they've rubbed their butt all over it. It's mine.
I in my other professional life, I work in finance, so like I've looked under the hood a bit at Games Workshop, and they're pretty like pretty set in their ways.
You looked under the hood. Do tell.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Just, like,
I think that
looked at
that
it
might
as
be,
like a company.
That might be a topic for another day. Under the hood of Games Workshop.
I mean, I don't know that much. I just like what's
with our
available. There you go. I feel like there's people that would be more in the know about that. But yeah, I don't think
if you're in the know, if you are in the know and you want to be on this podcast, and let us know.
If you're in the know and not under an NDA, I'm pretty sure you're like already talking about it.
It would definitely be an ex-employee.
But even they'd be under like a non-disclosure agreement.
You think so? Even after? No.
Yeah.
Well, there was that guy.
I'm under non-disclosure agreements for previous positions.
Well, we'll do the editing magic, and we'll distort your voice like it's a crime show.
Be like, oh, it's John Workshop, not James Workshop.
The brother of James.
It's from the York Workshops, not the Northrop or wherever the hell this place is.
And you'll have like a distort voice.
There we go.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so glad we're on the same wavelength.
There we go. But you know what? I do think we're talking about conventions, but even any event that you can get yourself out to, I know like talking to folks, sometimes people get like nervous about like going to their first event, and I feel like going to that first event will kind of like help break that like barrier for you.
Mm-hmm.
But like whatever that is, whether it's just like a hobby night or like an open play at a game store, just like get yourself out there and start like meeting the community. And I think you'll realize that it's not as like scary as you think it is.
Yeah, and I've definitely heard and seen a change with the community as well. It's definitely the bigger it's becoming, the better. Because people are, I think people want to see the best for this community, so it's just manifesting that goodness of it. Whereas
Hmm.
I've heard the horror stories how it used to be back in the day, the types of people that were in it, and luckily now people are starting to say no to that, and they're not accepting of it. So it's definitely snuffing that bad out.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like there's more diversity of
Hmm.
people, just like different types of people, different folks, different like coming together. And I think it's more different people.
Hmm.
Like I think the sweaty neckbeard trope
Hmm.
is kind of disappearing,
Yeah. Well,
which
well,
is
we're still in it, so.
I'm not a neckbeard, and I don't think you are either.
Nope. Oh, checking my beard. Nope. I know
Yeah,
it
you
is.
gotta inspect.
But yeah, just like
um,
that idea of that type of person. Yeah, we definitely don't see it in this community um,
no,
much.
not yeah. I mean, there is it is a trope for a reason, but
You're
like
you're gonna you're gonna get that type of person whatever community you're in. I'm sure there's someone like that in knitting communities. Like there's gonna be like everyone's gonna be represented, and that's what's wonderful about this community is we're starting to see a recognizing of like individuals, um, and really seeing people's personalities come out even through their armies. Like you're gonna see
mm,
like how they paint or how they design their models or how they explain lores or how they game. Like we're all becoming individuals together.
it's true. And I think like the more people that are part of those communities, the stronger they're gonna be.
Hmm.
Because realistically, like we all benefit when the community's bigger.
Yeah.
More people to play, more people to share with, more people to connect with. You know, if you're like, oh man, I'm free on this random Wednesday afternoon. I want to get a game of Warhammer in. If it's like you and one other person locally, you're probably not going to get it in. But if you got like 40 or 50 people, you can be like, hey, anyone else happen to be free at this exact time?
Hmm.
Much more likely it's going to happen. And then you get
Yep.
to play more Warhammer.
Hmm.
That's positive.
Yes. And here's a call of action: share this podcast with your
There
friends.
you go.
Build that community. Be like, see, there's some wholesomeness to this community. There's some
It's
good.
even called Wholesome Hammer.
Maybe. Okay, the lore or Warhammer or whatever. Okay, maybe Nurgle is evil, but the countering to that is the community are the good guys.
Yeah, no, that's 100% like that's the
Yeah.
point. Is like the community is full of like love and
Mm-hmm.
respect and care and concern,
Because we're like
but the
seeing what.
setting is deeply messed up. And there's no
Yeah.
maybe about whether or not Nurgle is evil. That's a pure confirmed there.
Oh, okay. Can I say May?
Maybe evil? No,
Mm,
it's confirmed.
may have some evil to him.
Weren't we just talking about how like Mortarion was actually coerced into serving Nurgle?
Yeah.
So how do you coerce someone when you're the good guy?
Well, how can
I
I answer this like a politician?
cannot confirm or deny Mortarion's involvement in coercion
Yeah. The
vis-a-vis.
opposition when they were in power.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna misdirect.
It was all the
misdirect.
other guy's fault.
Yes. It wasn't Nurgle's fault. It was Blood God's fault. Corn.
It was if the Emperor wasn't such a bad dad, then I never would have had the opportunity, so it's actually the Emperor's fault. It's
Yeah.
not my fault at all. No, I'm
Yeah.
just picturing Nurgle as Donald Trump.
No, you take that back right now.
That's the joke I made, and I stand by my joke. It was quite funny.
Wrong.
Wrong. But yeah, showing up, I think that's huge. And honestly, like, I don't know if I've ever met an event organizer that was like upset when they get a full house. Like,
Yeah.
people organize things because they want people to come out. They get excited to see people, especially when somebody's new. That's when you know you did something right.
Mm-hmm. And the best feeling, you can feel it in the air when it comes to GTs, is when everyone comes back on day 2.
Yes. And yeah, like, show up, help out when you can. And helping out doesn't have to be like go start your own event. It can just be like be nice to someone on their first tournament, or be nice, help them, sit with somebody when it's their first time and it's lunchtime, and make them feel a little more welcome.
Exactly. And you don't even have to do it in an event. Like, you can do it from your phone, and that's the coolest way to connect, is simply liking someone's stuff or commenting and just like, hey, I like that you are brave enough to post your stuff, and I love what you did with your model, your army, or your interpretation of the lore. Thank you for just adding to this massive
Mosaic.
this community that just continues to grow. Like, I don't think it will, unless something catastrophic happens, it's not going to decrease.
No, I think we're on the upswing, not the downswing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we've kind of alluded to this. You foreshadowed, but traveling can be a really cool way of seeing how big the world is.
Yeah.
So whether or not that's just traveling to like a nearby city to go to a tournament or a convention, or going to the religious epicenter of the Warhammer world in Welland, Ontario, and hang out with some butterflies, and go to mini wargaming.
I'll see you there on Sunday.
You're speechless. Get in your car right now. But no, there's all kinds of different ways, and if there's, we've talked about Rats Reach. Like, if there's content creators locally, like, that can be a great way of getting to connect, and also just see how big the community is. Like, we've already started to see it. Like, I actually, one of my favorite things is seeing like where people are listening from. And we've been at this for 6 months now, and it's already pretty like crazy how wide an audience we have, and people from all over the world. Like,
where are we in the world?
All over the place. Did you want specific examples?
Yeah.
Actually, okay.
You mentioned before someone from Thailand. If you are listening to this, thank you for listening. You are
okay. Awesome. There's been someone from Estonia, or like a group of people from Estonia, who have been absolutely like tearing through the podcast lately, and that is super cool. Just like, thanks for being you.
Yeah, and thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
We kind of see you. We don't, but.
Yeah, it's all like I don't know individually, but like we can see like countries, and like
we're big in Pennsylvania.
Actually, we can even see we are. Yeah, there's a ton of listeners in like Pennsylvania, which is super cool. And like throughout the States, and the UK is a big one. But even like throughout Europe, we have listeners in Africa and Asia and Australia and South America. Like, it's pretty crazy to think like people from literally all over the world are listening to us make jokes about butterflies. So,
but it puts them into perspective that this community is hitting all corners of this world.
Yeah. I know, like, when Japan showed up for the first time, I was like, really? That's really cool. Just, like, it's, like, kind of on, like, the opposite end of the world. And, like, when the first listens from, like, Africa came through, and I was just like, that's just, like, you kind of, like, we're in Canada. The UK is, like, you know, in the US. That kind of makes, like,
Across
some
the
sense.
pond.
But, like, across the pond, you know? But, just, like, how big this community is it's truly incredible.
And
So,
doesn't it make you want to like visit these places to see how they warham?
absolutely, I want some international war hams.
Yeah.
Do they spice the hams differently?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, see, I want some differently. I want to consume my war hams differently.
Yeah,
Different sauces.
I want to see like what lunches they take to their GTs. I want to see like how they prime their minis and like the hot heat. Like how do people adapt to their environments? I'm very interested by that.
I'd be curious to see if like there's different painting styles that show up more like
like
regionally.
You'll see like Brazilian painters, and my goodness, like I think they're just born artists there, because their use of color is perfect. They're vibrant, and I think that's just like their environment. You see pictures of Brazil and all like the houses there, and they're just, the vibrancy is just beautiful.
So yeah, Warhammer's huge, like truly, like in any meaningful sense of the word, like you couldn't meet every person who plays Warhammer.
That sounds like a challenge. Don't do that to me.
If you can challenge yourself however you want, but I don't think you could succeed.
You hear that, community? I'm coming to you.
I'll wait for that first listen from Antarctica and just be like, checkmate.
Oh, I'm going. I would love to go to Antarctica.
You go to Antarctica? Okay.
I would, to see the penguins? Come on.
All right. Penguins and butterflies. I thought you were an insect person. There's no insects in Antarctica.
You thought I was an insect person?
That's what butterflies are.
I'm arachnophobic.
Okay, but you also like butterflies. So make up your mind.
I can like everything, okay? Except for
Do you like
spiders.
moths?
No.
Yeah, see?
I've been terrorized by moths.
Terrorized by moths.
Have you? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
Well then.
In a good way.
All right. Well, okay. I will ask you one question before we. If you could travel anywhere for your warhams, where would it be?
Well, we just had Antarctica. If I could choose one place, I think I'd want to choose Vancouver with Play on Tabletop, and guess what we're doing in 2 weeks? No, that's cheesy. If I could
I'm cringing for you right now.
Okay, thank you. Oh man, one place. That's not even fair.
You can't pick Welland, Ontario.
Can I pick the world?
No.
Oh, moon?
Sure, you can go play Warhammer on the moon.
In space? Can I be the first person to play Warhammer in space? But I need to do it with somebody, so I'll be the first and the second.
Is it whoever gets first turn technically plays first? Is that?
I will teach Chris Hatfield how to play Warhammer in the space shuttle with the Canadian arm.
The Canada arm?
Yes, that one.
Okay. This went very... I thought you were going to say, like, Mexico or something, and you went... Like I said, I never know what to expect when I ask you a question.
Can you imagine playing Warhammer Under the Stars like that? Oh. Laura, imagine with me.
with weightlessness, I feel like that would be very difficult.
I didn't think about that.
I'm a realist, Kaylee. Got to play with magnetized minis on a metal board.
My Bellacore goes 12 inches, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Just give
Like he's
everything a gentle
actually
tap.
flying. That would be dangerous.
You know how much strength the Great Unclean One's sword has in space?
How much?
Just 8.
Ouch. We do like we should do like a Warhammer comedy night at an open mic. Just
I did stand up one time before COVID.
with
I
Warhammer
really enjoyed
content?
it. No, it was pretty self-deprecating, but I got laughs, so I was pretty proud about that.
I hear it's very addictive.
You know what? I came out of that understanding why comedians do what they do, because it is a rush to have people like laughing and cheering like at you.
I bet.
It's a high.
I kind of got that through the panel last year. Like, oh, people laughed at that? I didn't expect that to be funny, but okay. Cool. Thank you. I think what the line was it had to do with not truly understanding the amount of space that you actually need for Warhammer, and the whole room started to erupt. It's like, okay, yeah. That touched the nerve.
There you go. But no.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so Chaos Divided on tour.
There we go.
Where we
Making
do
Warhammer jokes,
podcasts, interviews, and stand-up.
Stand-up comedy.
Can we get a bus?
To travel with?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to make it to the moon. You walked right into it.
Buzzkill.
Just boom, slide it in there.
Alrighty.
All right. We've had some responses, so I wanted to bring that up.
Yes. Let's do that.
So I asked in last week's episode, what has been your favorite episode of Chaos Divided so far?
Mm-hmm.
And we are recording this on Wednesday, so this has been out for like, I don't know, 9 hours at this point, and we have 2 responses, so that's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And they're the same people who responded last week, so I think we have some regular contributors, and I absolutely adore you. From Philly, we have all of them, but if I had to pick one, it would be the How to Be a Great Opponent.
Oh, okay.
Right? I respect. And Ulfgar the Awful, Discord champ. The discussion about the Primarchs has been my favorite episode so far, but that was also a very hard decision because I enjoy each episode so much.
Oh, so technically both said all.
Right.
Oh, I love it. I also love that you crowned him the Discord champ. And
I feel like he is every time he posts something in the Discord. It's always like gorgeous or like super impressive, and he's just like also so positive and delightful,
humble, and
yeah,
I love it. And Phil can be our podcast champ, right?
I mean, Phil is also in the Discord, I believe.
I tried tagging him. Maybe I didn't get the right username, but
I don't know. Okay. But if you would like to be on our Discord,
because he's probably listening right now.
There you go. You can join
give you the red
Patreon.
Carpet. Oh, sorry.
And you too can be a Discord champ.
Yes. By joining our Patreon.
Yes. Amongst other benefits. Actually, our first bonus episode, Patreon exclusive, is out now. Our thoughts from our second GT of 10th edition.
Mildly spicy.
I have a feeling there's going to be maybe some cool content going on there after our trip in a couple weeks. So you won't want to miss that.
No. We should, we'll post some pictures and things up there.
Yeah.
So it's like they're coming with us. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I feel like I'm coming along with you. You're the guest of honor. I'm just the entourage.
Am I the Dorothy? We're going to the Yellow Brick Road.
And I'm an Oompa Loompa.
Laura!
What?
You're like my cowardly lion.
I was just making fun because my face is like orange, so I figured that it was more Oompa Loompa-y.
No.
I've never even seen The Wizard of Oz, so I don't really know who's in that. They're not even called that, are they? They're are they Munchkins? What are they?
I don't know.
There's like little elf things in The Wizard of Oz, isn't there? Oompa Loompas. Yeah, that's Charlie
Is
and
that
the
the
Chocolate Factory.
song?
No, that's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Loompa. Oh, you were so correct.
I was so wrong. It didn't even make sense. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so hopefully you'll check that out. And any other thoughts before we sign off?
Just want to thank everybody that continues to listen and shows their support. And like we were saying, we do look at some of like the countries and the cities, and I just want to say thank you to you who's listening from your corner of this world. Mwah.
You know what? It honestly, like, I am shocked how many people are already listening, and it definitely adds a like. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. Like it makes this seem more satisfying somehow to know that people are listening and engaging and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it means a lot to know that we're not just like talking into the void. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that note, I want to thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to Chaos Divided, both wherever you're listening from, and on Instagram and YouTube at Chaos Divided 40K. And you can find us on social media at Nurgle_Snurgle, freshly above 10,000 followers.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you.
And you can find Little Old at Blushing Noise Marine there as well. And we hope you check out our Patreon. If you're a fan of what we do and you want to support us, you can find the link in the episode description. And until next time, bye-bye.
Ciao for now. Do, 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 do.